Okay, with your warm-up robo rentals, you are going to rewrite the code under the rental robot now section. Right now it is a while loop, and you need to rewrite the code so that it is a for loop. I'll give you guys about 5 minutes to work on that. Okay, phones put up. Raise your hand if you're still working on it. Okay. All right, so who wants to tell me then? Brian, can you tell me what we're changing in the while loop? You don't know? Okay, so you're not done. Okay, so when we make our for loop, remember we have a range. A range can be a single number or argument, I should say, two arguments, or three. Um, if you look here in this area of rental robot row, what are some numbers that you see right now? You have a x equal to negative 20. So it's already saying that we have a variable at negative 20. What else do we have? Okay. It's checking to see if that x is less than 800, which means that it is the exclusive limit. And then we probably have an increment somewhere. Or a step. Sorry, I used the wrong term. A step. And that is the x plus equals 195. 195 would be the increment by which you step by. So if instead of while we did for x in range, and we had negative 20 as our first argument, 800 as the exclusive limit, and then 195 as the step, we can put 3 lines of code in one with the same results. Okay, so we are looking for x in range, and here we have x being used in the placement of the robot sprite. That's what it was for. Oops, I forgot my colon, as I frequently do. Huh? 5? Why? Oh, I gotcha. I gotcha. Okay, but then you left everything in there, though, right? So what about that x minus 20 equals minus 20? Did you keep that, or? Okay, then it's not truly a for loop. So, well, I mean, it is, but the whole purpose is that a for loop would be more efficient and less coding than a while loop. So if you're having to leave in those two things, then you're not fully using the power of the for loop. Does that make sense? Okay. Because if you can get the value of x equals negative 20 and the step of x plus equals 195 in the same place, that's going to be running more efficiently. And remember that there's always multiple ways to do things. However, right now we are trying to focus on for loops so that we can work on code efficiency. Okay? All right, questions on that one? All right, so let's go. Oh, I know. Something that I wanted to talk to you guys about real quick, and of course I forgot with last period. You'll recall it was before Christmas. I think it was at the beginning of the third 6 weeks, and I told you guys, and there were a few reasons that made me decide this about having to put your phones away, and then giving you guys the if you don't, well, first off, if there's a sub and you don't get your work done during that day, you don't get a chance to make that up because you chose to goof around and do nothing, okay? 2, if on any other days when there's not a sub, you don't finish, whatever, you have, or you're sick that day, you need to make it up in a timely manner. So if you are just having a bad day and you turn something in a day late, that is 10 points off of the highest grade you can get, or off what you earned. Let me rephrase that, off what you earned. 2 days is 20 points off, 3 days, 30 points off, and after that, I'm not accepting it. So you guys that are just sitting here doing nothing but staring at a small screen for 45 to 55-minute class periods instead of trying to work through things or asking questions, I'm not accepting the late work anymore. Again, anymore. Okay? And there were a few reasons for that. But we can't sit here, we can't be successful if you're not trying to work through it. And yes, a lot of coding is trial and error, but you have to be willing to try something in order to make an error to figure out whether you're doing it right or not. If you just sit there and do nothing, that's not figuring anything out. You're just waiting for me or somebody else to hold your hand and walk you through it. And that's not how you learn. Okay, so I want to make sure that all of you understands what I'm talking about, because I'm tired of grading 30 people's work on the day that grades are due because you were too lazy to do it the first time around. I'm not going to do it anymore. Okay? Okay, which brings me to Friday. We had a practice test. If you were absent, you should do your practice test. Your real test is going to be this Thursday. Okay? This Thursday. It originally was on the calendar, I think, for tomorrow, but I forgot that I had a computer science training tomorrow, and I didn't want the sub to have to worry about a test. So I moved the test forward, and you'll have some projects to work on in class. Okay? All right, so we are going to be doing a little card game called Matchup. And I think most of you at some point in your childhood have played a matching card game. And if we look at the solution, you are going to see that you have 5 columns and 4 rows of cards. And the point of it is for you to click on a card and then click on another card and try to match it. Well, I just got lucky and I did that right off the bat. I got 2 pineapples. Now I got a Christmas tree and a light bulb. And then I got a bow tie and a pineapple. And just FYI, there are multiple pairs of each one of them. Oh, Christmas tree. Was that this one? Yes. And then I'm going to do, another Christmas tree. Oh, there was a pineapple. Pineapple, pineapple. Okay, so you're going to wind up and notice that it tells you when you found a match and what turn you are on. Ooh, another Christmas tree. I don't recall if I had there's one. Light bulb. Light bulb? No, that was that one. Light bulb. Oh, no, they were right next to each other. I think I only got 5 this time. Okay, I got 7 last time. All right, so that is what you are creating. If you look in your requirements for this, you have to use a nested for loop, to create 4 rows of 5 cards each. Then you are going to use random images for the cards. You have 5 options for those random images. You are going to continue the game for 10 turns unless the user quits. And you are going to print whenever the picked cards match. And then as long as the user doesn't quit, at the very end, you're going to print the total matches at the end. Okay? So what do you think the input is? Yeah, clicking on the cards. What about the output? Flipping over? Telling us if it matches or not? Turns left? And yeah, the final, how many matches you got. So there's four pieces of output there. So what is the player's goal of this game? Yeah, to match cards. Match as many pairs as possible. So in this area, you have room for planning. And what you need to consider with your planning is how can you use this, how can you use a 4 range loop in this program? What are your thoughts? Say that again. Yeah, the amount of turns. So you automatically know that you got 10 turns. So you're going to be able to be able to, well, you're not necessarily, you don't, remember, you don't decrease or increment or decrement in a for loop. In a while loop you do. But when you put in for blah blah range of 10, then you know that you're only running it 10 times. Okay? Um okay, what is another place where you might use a for loop in here? What's something that's repeated? Yeah, the cards. So you know that you have 4 rows of 5 cards each. So could you imagine that as a nested loop possibly? Yeah. Okay, because something is it's gonna happen, and then it's gonna happen for 3 more times. All right. Um, obviously you need to write your plans down in there. Yeah, I know. It should be a simple plan, but think about this. This is what you need to plan. You know that you need to import your libraries. There's 3 libraries you need to import. You need to make a window and a background. You need to set up the cards. You need to make your turn loop, your loop for all the turns, which includes picking 2 cards, checking for closing the program, finding matches, and flipping the cards back over. And then you need your final output. Okay, so that is what you have to think about for your loop. Okay, I'm going to unlock the writing portion. All right, so go ahead and I need everybody looking up here at the screen. Okay, so like I said, we're starting off with 3 libraries. You have TS card, which is in the assignment panel, and look at the functions that go with it. Okay, so you got a bunch of functions there to help you. You're also going to import random and TS app. There are 2 variables that you need. Turns. We already know you get 10 turns, so you're going to set your variable turns for 10. You also have matches. Everybody starts at 0 matches because you haven't matched anything yet, but you're going to increment that by 1 every time you match something. Then you're going to set up your window. You're going to have an image for your background, and you are going to add that object to the window. Then comes, y'all quit trying to type everything you see up here, turn around. Then you see that your cards, here is your nested loop. So for X in range of 5, we know we had 5 cards, okay, 5 columns, 5 cards in each row. And then for Y in range of 4, you are going to get a random integer of 1 to 3 for an image. You are going to add card, and I want you to look at this real quick. Obviously, when you do this, it does require some trial and error to get placement and measurement. But we have, we didn't make that yet. We have X times 200. That's giving you where you're placing it on the, going across on the row. And then Y times 140 is how you're placing each row of cards away from each other. And then window, comma, image. Then we have our for loop for turn in range turns. Guess where turns comes from? Right there. So every time you run, it's going to say, as long as it's 10, because that's the value of that variable. You are going to print turn plus string turn plus 1. Why are we doing the plus 1? Yeah, because the default is for it to start at 0. Then we have one of those functions from the documentation, pick 2 cards. Well, if it's picking 2 cards, we need to see the value of those 2 cards. You probably could, but do the variable. Yeah. I mean, you'd have to do some other stuff in order to get there. And like I said, there's always multiple ways to do it. Your goal is to do it efficiently with a for loop. Then, if somebody wants to close it, you say, if not, window is running, and then you break out of it. And then your matches. If card1.image equals card2.image, you found a match. And then you show the match. And then you increment matches, which of course started off at 0. Then you reset the cards. There's another function. And then at the very end, your output tells you how many matches you found. Okay? So you got a few places you're working through. I will come help you. However, like I said, helping and doing are 2 different things. You guys have got to make an attempt at trying to put down code so that someone can help you work through it. Okay? So you know that you've got some importing. You know you got a couple of variables. You know you got to set up a window and a background. Also remember, if you would duplicate your tab, you can keep previous sessions open to refer back to it. You're not going to have anything that's the exact code, but you're going to have some stuff that should help you through it. Okay? So go ahead and work on that, and I will pop by and answer questions.